Hi everyone, it's Ali here from NRL Off the Field for another podcast. It's the fifth podcast. The first four I've had a look at. I've been going on my channel throughout the week, looking at just to see if the subscription is growing and the viewership is increasing, and that's the case. So I'm glad you're enjoying the videos. The comments, I need more comments. On my Facebook page I'm getting flooded with comments, but on my channel there's a bit less comments, so I need you guys to comment in the box for feedback, just things that you want me included and things you want to take out of the podcast, and I'll be more than happy to do that. But so far so good, thank you. My Facebook page is like every single day the likes and the engagement is increasing. The page is growing. I get about 15-20 likes each day, so that's obviously a positive. There's a lot of comments, there's a lot of discussion, which is great, but I need it in my channel as well, because the more I can get both, the more you're going to enjoy the Facebook page and also these podcasts. And all of these podcasts are going to be linked on my Facebook page, so I'm trying to get both connected and linked to each other. Now regarding this podcast, so the fifth podcast today, we're going to be talking about the usual stuff, so the latest NRL rumours that's going around, just general NRL news, and then I've got some fan questions to answer. We're going to get started straight away regarding the latest rumours that's going around and just updates as well. So we're going to start with news that basically that I've been discussing for the past couple of months. A lot of people have kind of questioned the rumor and kept telling me about what happened to this, what happened to it, is it still going to happen? And finally today it was confirmed. We all there was always rumors on my page, Ali's latest NRL rumors, that Conrad Hurrell was going to leave the Warriors and sign with the Gold Coast Titans, and finally he was released yesterday. And today the Gold Coast Titans have announced the signing of ex-Warriors hooker Conrad Hurrell for the remainder of this season, which is important, and until the end of the 2017 season. So it's good for the Titans because they've just lost David Mead to injury, so he can play. He's an outside back, so he can slot in straight away. And then Davis is going to get most likely Davis will get there'll be a rotation there, or Davis will get dropped. So the Titans, look how good they're doing. They beat my Panthers just last round, which was massive. It was a great effort. They've just signed Nathan Peets, and they've got Conrad Hurrell, two big names, two players that can have a major impact. And you saw Nathan Peets, what he did against us. Penrith from hooker, this is one of the best hookers in the game. He was talked about playing New South Wales Origin. He scored a try as well, so he's going to start very soon at hooker. But Conrad Hurrell, if he just focuses, and I'm sure Neil Henry is going to get the best out of him, and the best of Conrad Hurrell, it's unstoppable as a bulldozer. So that's great for a club that was looking at having no big names this season or the next. They've already signed two of those, in that being Pete and Hurrell. So that's a great get for the Titans and their fans, which I'm sure they're gonna turn up at the next home game. And Hurrell, he's a great player, so fans should be happy with that signing. But he just has to stay off the field issues is his only issue. But same thing with BJ Lalou with the Raiders. He's been unstoppable this year. He's got an attitude problem, but this year it's kind of decreased, and I think that's gonna, you can praise Ricky Short for that. And same thing with Neil Henry. If Hurrell stays good off the field, he's gonna, it's gonna show in his performances, and you're gonna thank Neil Henry for that as well. Something that I touched on as well a couple of podcasts ago. I'm not sure if it was the previous one, but Curtis Yernan from the West Tigers. Apparently he's on the yard or at the club. So I keep hearing that. He hasn't been spoken about recently. There hasn't been much talk about him. He got dropped recently, and there was talk about Manly possibly going for him. So wait and see there, but don't get shocked if Curtis Sheridan leaves. It can possibly be the same way Conor Harrow left, so effective immediately. But let's just wait and see how things play out. Because the Tigers, let's not forget, they've got to re-sign a couple of big name players. So Curtis Sheridan might be one of them that is going to go to accommodate the players that the Tigers need to be re-signed, and I'll touch on the updates on them shortly. Something else that was broken today. So apparently, according to Fox Sports, Cody Walker is being chased by the Brisbane Broncos, and have apparently offered him a 3-year deal. So I haven't heard that. It's the first time I've heard it, but I know for a fact that Luke Keary staying or going is going to impact on Cody Walker. So I think if Luke Keary goes, Cody Walker would definitely stay for the next 2 seasons. So let's just wait and see, because I know the Rabbitohs have offered Cody Walker a 2-year deal. I don't see the Rabbitohs losing Luke Keary and Cody Walker. So we're going to have to wait and see how things play out. But yeah, the Broncos are after Cody Walker. And he's a great player. He's got experience. Not that much, but let's just see how things play out. But at the moment, that's the talk with Cody Walker to the Brisbane Broncos. But there's also possible talk about Jaden Nikorima to the Broncos as well. So it's the first time I've heard about that as well. I know for a fact that the Storm are after Cody Nikorima. So Cody Nikorima to the Storm, or Cody Walker and or Jaden Nikorima to the Brisbane Broncos. So let's just wait and see. One Nikorima is going to go. The other one is going to come to the Brisbane Broncos. So possibly Jaden Nikorima is going to leave Sydney, go to Brisbane, and likewise with or vice versa with Cody. But he's going to go to Melbourne. So let's just wait and see there. Some other big name from the Bulldogs. So they've just re-signed Mbai and Clemmer. They've re-signed Jackson, and apparently Greg Eastwood is going to re-sign with them until 2018, until the end of 2018. So there was talk about Greg Eastwood leaving and signing with the Dragons or Warriors, but I did mention those two teams last week, but apparently the Bulldogs are going to re-sign him, and if they re-sign Eastwood and they've re-signed Clemmer, Mbai, Jackson, that's a big effort, and the board, the fans should stand by the board and basically thank them, because re-signing those 4 players, they're the 4 big names. So Eastwood's a red player, Mbai's a future red player. Queensland, they're already talking about him in the Queensland and taking over DCE and jumping on top of DCE in terms of priority. Clemmer is already playing Origin. Jackson's already playing Origin. So that's 3 red players and 1 future red player. So massive get. And Josh Reynolds, he might be another one they're gonna re-sign, but we just have to wait and see how things pan out, and see if they are gonna get someone in the halves or they're gonna keep Reynolds. Today, it was announced that the Cowboys re-signed Kane Leonard for another 2 years. So, are they, using the James Tarmel money and putting it into someone else, investing into someone else, or do they have enough money to re-sign both? Because James Tarmel hasn't announced anything yet if he's going to sign with the Panthers or re-sign with the Cowboys, but I still think he's coming to the Panthers on a 3-year deal. Yesterday the Tigers re-signed Michael Cheekham until the end of 2017 season. He's a great youngster. He's not playing at the moment. He keeps getting named 18th man, but he was from Manly, now he's at the Tigers, so he's a great player. His time will come. Today, the Tigers announced the re-signing of Chris Lawrence, a veteran. He's going to stay a one-club man until the end of the 2019 season. So it's a 3-year deal, which I'm shocked because he's not young, and if we signed him for 3 years, he's been doing great. Keeping him as a one-club man, and keeping him for the next 3 years is something that is going to benefit the Tigers club because he is an experienced player. And I've signed Elijah Taylor as well, so having those two players with Robbie Farah and Woods around, Moses, Brooks, Naguama, and Tedesco, that's experience it can mix with those young juniors that are just coming up now. You need experienced players like Lawrence at your club to guide those youngsters. So it's something that the Tigers are doing well there. Also, Junior Paulo to the Raiders, that's been talked around as well. We obviously know he's going next year, but with what the Parramatta Eels are going through, and they've released Nathan Peets, Whitemal's retired, Norman's been unsigned, Michael Gordon's going to get re-signed for the next 2 years, I think, so I expect that to happen, Michael Gordon to re-sign with the Parramatta Eels. But Junior Paulo, the Raiders want him, so they want him effective immediately, so that's before the June 30 deadline. His manager Sam Ayoub's he's asking for that release very soon, and it's just a matter of whether the Eels are going to accept it or not. If they do, Junior Paulo will go straight to the Canberra Raiders, and they'll sign him for this entire year, and I've already confirmed him for the next 3 years. So it's basically he'll be joining the Raiders for the next 3.5 years. So I know that there's going to be an ask for a release, but I don't know if that release is going to get accepted, and Paulo's going to leave. So the Eels, let's not forget, have to re-sign Michael Gordon and Corey Norman. So Corey Norman's going to ask for about 600,000. Michael Gordon is going to ask for a bit less than that. So then they need money to accommodate both. So releasing Peets, releasing Paulo, and retiring. You'd think that might be enough to re-sign Gordon and Norman. I don't think having Paulo there, they're going to re-sign Norman and Gordon. So unless they release someone else, so let's just wait and see. But expect news about a release being accepted or rejected for Junior Paulo to the Canberra Raiders. Now, the Tigers, so good news for them. Well, obviously besides the Chris Lawrence re-signing and Michael Cheekham re-signing, Luke Brooks and Mitchell Moses, they're both staying at the West Tigers. Expect an announcement within the next fortnight or something around there. So good news for the Tigers fans and the future of the club. They have to build that foundation between Brooks, Moses, Tedesco, and Manaia Chun, and possibly if he doesn't leave. So that's good news. I heard about 2 weeks, possibly that 2-3 mark. So let's just wait and see. Be patient because it's gonna happen. So that's two good youngsters. I don't rate them at the moment, but let's just you got to keep those youngsters, give them time, and see where they take your club. But at the moment they're not performing, and we just have to see. It's all about giving them time basically, and see if it's going to pay off or not. Similar to Mbai and the Doggies, they've re-signed him on big money, but it might pay off in the future. So they might be paying big money for him now, but in 2 years' time, it might you might look back and say, thank God the Bulldogs re-signed him, or thank God the Tigers re-signed Moses, because look where he is now. And likewise with Brooks. So be patient and give him time. An update on the hooker position for the Penrith Panthers. Now I'm hearing that the Panthers will not re-sign James Segeyaro, so they're not going to re-sign him. They're either going to invest in a younger hooker, so they're going to sign a younger hooker. They've been rumoured to Cameron King from the Parramatta Eels, and the obvious Manaia Charrington from the West Tigers. Cameron King's one, you'd think that's not going to happen anymore. Manaia Charrington, who knows? Some people have told me that it's been confirmed. Some people have told me that no, it's not going to happen anymore. So we'll just have to wait and see. Or Peter Wallace might stay in that hooker position, and Team R.A. Martin will come in, with Selwood. So let's just wait and see. But I know that they will not re-sign James Segeyaro as it stands. So that's good or bad news for some. I don't know. For me personally, if that means Josh Mansell is going to stay with Tyrone Peachey, that's great news. If re-signing James Segeyaro is going to result in Josh Mansell or Tyrone Peachey leaving, then let's not make that happen. Because if you ask any Penrith fan, their priority would be Josh Mansell staying and Tyrone Peachey rather than Segeyaro. And I do hear that Tyrone Peachey is on the outer big time. So if he does leave, it'll be a shame, because he's a player that has potential and you can put him anywhere. But out of all players, those named, I would rather Josh Mansell staying for sure. Josh Mansell has to stay, and then if that's Tyrone Peachey staying or James Segeyaro staying as well, then that's great. But at least two out of the three staying, and preferably for me will be Peachey and Mansell, with Segeyaro leaving to accommodate both, and possibly having James Tarmel staying as well, so signing as well. So let's just wait and see. But as it stands, Penrith, based on what I'm hearing, Penrith won't offer James Segeyaro a contract, and we all know, and I've said this a long time, that he's being chased by the Rabbitohs and Dragons. So if they do announce either club that they're signing him, well, don't get shocked, because I said it. And the Dragons is an interesting one, because the Dragons have Mitch Raines. So Mitch Raines a great player, but they're not after. They don't want him in their future. So let's just wait and see what happens. Now, Manly Seagulls utility Tom Simons, apparently he's on the outer and he might leave. So it's a similar story between with Curtis Sierra, and how I said Curtis Sierra might leave effective immediately before the June 30 deadline. Well, Tom Simons, it's same thing with Tom Simons. So I know the Newcastle Knights are interested in him, and the Sharks, which I mentioned a long time ago, that before the season even started, that the Cronulla Sharks are after Tom Simons. So they're still after him, and also the Newcastle Knights are after him. So don't get shocked if Tom Simons does leave to either club or go overseas. So I think they want to release Tom Simons. Who knows? Because apparently they're after Tony Williams. I don't know why. I don't know who's calling the shots there. I know Bob Fulton is, but I don't think you'd want to be signing Tony Williams, which apparently is going to happen mid-year as well, effective immediately. So does that mean I want to release Tom Simons to get Tony Williams, or release Tom Simons and get Tony Williams? But those two movements have nothing in common, or nothing related. So wait and see what happens with Tom Simons, also Tony Williams as well, because apparently he's obviously been dropped by the Dogs, and I don't think he'll be playing first grade anymore. It's just a matter of him when and where he's gonna leave the Dogs to Manly, or to the Tigers, or Parramatta Eels. So wait and see. But don't get shocked if Tom Simons does leave the Manly Seagulls effective immediately. Those are the latest rumours that's going around at the moment. So there is a couple that should be decided within the next couple of weeks. So the Tigers issue James Tarmel after what you think he'll be announcing whether he's staying with the Cowboys or leaving Penrith after the Origin, because you don't see him making a decision during that Origin period, especially when he's playing for New South Wales Blues. So expect Tarmel to make a decision after the Origin period. And Greg Eastwood as well, staying at the Dogs. So there's a couple and also Junior Polo as well with the release, which I think you next week for sure you see whether he's staying at the Eels or leaving to Canberra for this year and onwards, for the remainder of this year and onwards. Now we're gonna move on to just general information, so not general NRL news, so nothing with rumours or signings. So the Bulldogs with membership, so they've actually, for the first time in the club's history, they've reached 20,000 members, which is massive effort for the club. A lot of teams, the Storm broke record as well, the Broncos broke a record, the Bulldogs have broken a record. So there's a lot of clubs and a lot of NRL clubs that are breaking membership records, and here's another one for the Bulldogs, over 20,000 already, and it's only around 12. So well done to the club and fans. Also the Dally M ladder. So we've got Josh Hodgson and Andrew Fafita as the top 2 leaders, both on 13 points after 11 rounds. So for me, I think Anthony Milford will win the Dally M, but Andrew Fafita, the dark horse is Ben Barber as well for the Cronulla Sharks. So there's Josh Hodgson who was leading, but Andrew Fafita has just caught up behind him, and now he's tied up. So he's going to play Origin this year, so I think that's going to impact his results, his score. So let's just wait and see what happens there. Now, state of Origin talk. So I'm a Blues fan. There's been 5 debutants, but 4. And 1 has been dropped, in that being Tyson Frizzell, and the 4, Matt Moylan, Josh Mansell, Josh Mansell, Adam Reynolds, and Ferguson. So I like him. Matt Moylan's vision to play left to right pass, and also right to left pass, so he can play both sides of the field. He's got good kicking game, but I don't think he'll be doing much kicking. But it's good because he's got good vision. Lachlan Coote's a great player, and I would have liked Lachlan Coote also to play, because he's got so much talent. But I think with the Cowboys, you see that Michael Morgan plays one side and Lachlan Coote plays the other. But with Penrith, Matt Moylan's way more influential, because he plays on the left, he plays on the right, and he plays on the left. So he's got passing game on both sides. Lachlan Coote only plays on one side, and that's the left side, with Michael Morgan playing the right. So I think he's got strong returns as well. So, and he always wants the ball, so that's a good thing. And he can finish the game with whether it's a field goal or doing something special with the ball. So, and we saw the pass he gave Josh Mantle against the Titans. It was a great, it was just a flick, a tap of the ball, and Josh Mantle got it, and to his credit, he scored. He still had work to do, but he scored. Now, Josh Mantle is another. He averages about 160 meters a game, which is amazing. He's got, I think, 1,700 meters total in a season, and I think he's the top. He makes a lot of meters out of the. I think he's one of the top or the highest runner in terms of meters that he makes out of the New South Wales Blues, except for Josh Dugan. But Josh Dugan plays fullback for the Dragons, so I think if Mantle played fullback for the Panthers, then you'd see his score being heaps higher than Josh Dugan. Because if he's making 1,600 meters on the wing, imagine what the meters you'll make at fullback. So it's great. I think on the back foot, when the Blues are on the back foot, Josh Mantle from dummy half, he makes a lot of meters, fast play the ball, penalty, Blues gain momentum. Adam Reynolds, his kicking game is great, and if he keeps that under control, massive kicking game in the Origin, I think it'll benefit the Blues so much, because he can kick us out of pressure, and he can kick us to maintain that momentum and put the Queensland Maroons under pressure. Blake Ferguson's another. His defense isn't, it's not 100%, but he's sort of like Josh Mantle, so he is aggressive in his runs. He's tough as well, so it's a great call. I think they'll do good, the Blues. Obviously, the Queensland team's going to be hard to beat, but O'Neill and Oates is a great player. He makes a lot of meters. He's a big boy. He's going to be tough to take down, but we've got Dugan and Ferguson, so it's going to be a tough battle, good battle as well. We'll just have to wait and see there. And O'Neill is the same thing as well. He beat Kyle Feld. O'Neill and Oates, a lot of people said Kyle Feld would have been unlucky, but I think O'Neill is good on the high ball, and he's safe. So you need that in Origin, and that's one thing you don't want to see players dropping the ball off high bombs, which we saw the fullback for Panthers, Matt Moylan, do a couple of times against the Titans, and same with Lachlan Coote as well. So they have to make sure that under pressure they're good with the high ball, and I think the forward pack is going to be the same. I think it's going to go down to the outside backs and who's going to come up with that special play. So I think it's going to be the outside backs that are going to change the game, not the forward pack, in my opinion. So that's my opinion there on Origin. We're going to go to the fan questions. We're going to finish this podcast off with the fan questions. So Omar and Chris were asking about the Eels salary cap. So the salary cap for the Eels, so about 2017, if they're still over the cap, and if they've got any more drama in terms of salary cap. So at the moment, they're obviously allowed to play for points, meaning that's all sorted. The salary cap auditor, he came in and they done their investigation, and they found out that the Eels shed the players that they needed to shed. They're currently under salary cap, and hence why they're playing for points at the moment. So you think that they are and they will be playing for points in 2017. Now they do have, I think it's June 13 or June 12 to appeal the punishment that they've done, that they've been handed. So that's why you're seeing that the Parramatta Eels are still on. I think it's they've still got, I think it's 12 points. They're not last at the moment, and that's why the reason for that is they've still got that June 12 or 13 date. That's when they can appeal it. After that, you'd see the Eels go down to 0 points, or 2 or 4, depending on how many games they've won. From the point when they said they were allowed to play for points until that period. So the salary cap for the Eels is fine at the moment. They're just having issues with re-signing, like any club. You gotta balance your salary cap and see who you have to release, or how much each player is going to be worth. And Corey Norman's going to be worth about 600,000. And Mark Gordon's going to be worth slightly less than that. But stay tuned and see if they do end up re-signing both, which I'm sure they will. Matt's asking about the Knights and Luke Lewis. So I keep hearing that they're after Luke Lewis. Tariq Sims apparently is on the Manly Seagulls radar. Robbie Rocco's on the Sharks radar, and they need that player, the Newcastle Knights, that tough player, and I think that experienced player as well. So I think that they want him, and I don't know. I'm not too sure because the Cronulla Sharks have re-signed a couple of players lately, but they're most likely gonna release Chris Hyington. So I don't know if they're releasing Chris Hyington to accommodate some space for Luke Lewis, or that has no impact. I'm not sure, but they are after him. So I haven't heard that they've dropped out, but watch this space, because they do want Luke Lewis, and that's the last I've heard. But Tom Simons is that they're also after Tom Simons, so watch this space. So I think obviously you'd prefer Luke Lewis and Tom Simons, but either one of them is going to have an instant impact because of how young the Newcastle Knights squad is. That's that. Logan's asking about Josh Adokar from the West Tigers. Apparently he's asking if the Storm have signed him. The last I've heard is yes, they have, along with Ryan Morgan. We saw Ryan Morgan play for them against the Parramatta Eels last Monday. Josh Adokar apparently has signed with them as well for next year. So I don't know if it's been confirmed, but if it has, I'll send you the link or the article. If it hasn't, watch this space. So I'm not too sure. If it hasn't been confirmed, then it's obviously hasn't happened. Hasn't officially happened, but I heard that the Melbourne Storm will sign Ryan Morgan and Josh Adokar. So watch this space. I'll look into it. So Antonio was asking about James Segeyaro, which I touched on already. Latest I've heard is he's not re-signing with the Panthers. The Dragons are after him. The South Sydney Rabbitohs are after him. So that concludes the 5th podcast. Please watch, share, like, comment, and also subscribe. Subscribe is important to make sure you stay updated with this channel, and every time I upload a video, you get notified that I've uploaded a video. Also in the description box there's a link to my Facebook page, Ali's NRL Rumors. I got a heap load of likes, and every single day it's updated. You'll find a rumors list up there as well, so which is going to have similar things that I've spoken about now, and any updates in the comments box as well. So I'll always provide updates to the list. So if I hear something tomorrow, I'll update it in the comments box, and I'll say this is an update on the rumor blah blah, and you'll get the latest on that. So yeah, hopefully you enjoyed this podcast, and make sure you tune in for the next week, same time, because the new podcast is going to go up, and it'll be NRL Off the Field Podcast 6. But for now, it's goodbye from me, and I'll see you guys next week. Hopefully you enjoy, and you've enjoyed this podcast. Thank you for listening.